Gallagher. There's O'Donnell. It's Lang! And Motherwell in front after only 6 minutes at Ibrox.
An early goal, you're going behind, and then Motherwell basically play without a striker and sit in with 10 men behind the ball and make it incredibly difficult.
Look at the time using it, 74 minutes played or whatever. So you know you got time. You know you don't need more than 2 or 3 minutes to score 1 goal or 2 minutes to 2 goals at times. You've seen it before in history of football.
Tavernier. And at the back is Kent. There's Roof. And Rangers have equalised.
But Rangers got to go back. You could see it. You could see the attitude of the players just lifted even more. And then you could see that they knew they were going to go on and push on.
Tavernier with the corner kick. Drops at the front post and at the back. There is Cedric Eaton. 8 minutes left to play. Rangers are in front. Zaribo and towards Eaton. Zaribo's there again. It's Roof. And Kemar Roof at the double. That will keep Rangers in their lofty position at the top of the Premiership. Roof with a double. Well, that's full time, and Rangers maintain their unbeaten league run this season after 18 games.
The victory moves Rangers even further ahead at the top of the table. Meanwhile, Celtic are at Hampden for the rescheduled 2020 Scottish Cup final.
Christie, oh, what a goal! Odsonne Edouard, oh, it's incredible, it's Panenka! It's Boyce, Hearts back in it! Oh, it's in! It's a Hearts goal, they're level! And it goes, Griffiths gets it! Hearts are level again! In this now, you run the risk of losing the cup final. And Whiten has, it's Hazard again! Dyer for the cup, and he's done it! He has done it! The relief is palpable at Hampden! The history makers, the quadruple treble winners, are Celtic Football Club.
They managed to find a way to win, but with everything else that was circulating around at that point, it did feel as if that was almost just like the bookend to what had been an incredible, period of time, and that they had a mountain to climb to try to get themselves back into a position where they could go and challenge Rangers for the title.
It wouldn't have been nice for Rangers to see Celtic win the quadruple treble, because again, that's probably never going to be done again. But they probably used that as motivation. Look, guys, this is where we want to be. We want to be the team that are winning trophies.
Rangers reached the halfway point in the league season. 17 victories, 2 draws, 53 goals scored.
They've had that little stumble, they've conceded goals that you wouldn't expect, but certainly they were back to the Rangers that we've seen consistently this season.
And it's as you were at the top of the Scottish Premiership. It is a 13th successive Premiership victory for Rangers. It finished in Paisley, St Mirren 0, Rangers 2.
A very happy new year. I wish you all a prosperous and successful 2021. Premiership football gets up and
Floral tributes have been left outside Ibrox Stadium in Glasgow to mark the 50th anniversary of the stadium disaster.
Remembering the 66 men, women and children who came along to this fixture 50 years ago and who were crushed to death on Stairway 13.
The memory of the tragedy for those who lived through that darkest of days will not fade. A nation remembers the 66.
Then we get the next Old Firm game. It's at Ibrox. There was a kind of feeling with this game that if Rangers won it, they were edging ever so close to the title.
Promising opening for Celtic. Here's Edouard. Always dangerous inside the penalty area. McGregor on the rebound. Now it's Edouard. Great save, McGregor. Alan McGregor proving his worth early on to keep out Odsonne Edouard with this first effort.
Rangers didn't play that well. Celtic dominated large parts of the match. Again, you've got the save from Alan McGregor from Lee Griffiths' shot.
What can Celtic make of this? Griffiths curls it! Another brilliant save from Alan McGregor to keep Celtic out. Doesn't get much better than that from Alan McGregor.
One of the oldest cliches in football that the champions are teams that you can win games and they don't play well, and Celtic were better in that game.
Gerrard will be a touch concerned, you'd imagine, at the way this game has gone so far.
I think that's when you start to see the fact that Celtic were better and Rangers weren't at their best, but Rangers were still the better team on the day.
Tavernier chased down by Griffiths, but gets the pass away forward for Morelos, who's hauled to the ground by Beaton. Now watch the referee's decision here, red card for Nir Beaton. Tavernier then to take the corner kick, sends it in, there's a goal, and it's Joe Aribo who has made the breakthrough. Callum McGregor will try and gee up the Celtic troops, but his side find themselves behind, and it's come off Callum McGregor last. That will go down as a Callum McGregor own goal.
They found a way to win, and that is the desire within you. That's character.
It did certainly have a feeling of that was it. It was over.
There is the final whistle. It is a huge victory for Steven Gerrard and Rangers. Callum McGregor's own goal, the deciding factor.
Problems continue to mount for Celtic. A winter training camp in Dubai hits the headlines for all the wrong reasons.
The headlines dominated by Celtic's trip to Dubai. Christopher Julian testing positive for COVID-19. A total of 16 players and coaching staff sent into isolation ahead of tonight's match against Hibernian.
A case of coronavirus within the squad leads to 13 players, as well as manager Neil Lennon, having to self-isolate and miss a crucial match against Hibernian.
The header comes in, dodges it there. Last towards goal by Kevin Nisbet. And once again, it's a set piece that undoes the Celtic defence.
Of course, you had the ill-fated Celtic trip to Dubai.
In terms of the decision making, you know, at some point during the lead up to the Dubai trip, somebody has to say, I don't think this is a good idea.
Chance for Livingston to load the ball. There's Kieran Brown's there, and Kieran Brown has the opening goal.
And another nightmare for Celtic. That is horrific defending.
One problem went on top of the other, and then top of the next, and on top of the next, and all of a sudden it felt like there was so many issues and such a big, problem surrounding the club.
We have a lot to do, a lot to do. People say it's over. I can understand that, but we'll keep going.
Chance for Dermis to make it 2-1. Oh, a brilliant finish from Ilkay Dermis. And St Mirren have regained the lead at Celtic Park.
And at that point in time, I think everybody, and even Celtic players, the Celtic manager, would have conceded that, barring a miracle, there was no way back.
Meanwhile, Rangers face a tough run of fixtures. Striker Alfredo Morelos, often criticised for his discipline, comes to the forefront.
It's fabulous from Rangers, it has to be said. And Alfredo Morelos finishes it beautifully.
Alfredo Morelos, I don't think anybody can doubt what he gives to that Rangers team. On his day, he's as difficult an opponent as a centre-half will play against.
Morelos, it's 2! He's in the groove now, all right, is the Colombian.
When he's on form and he's scoring goals, he proves to Rangers and their fans and his teammates how important he is. I think when you see the celebrations when he scores goals, everybody loves him at the club, obviously, and they're so happy for him to score.
Davis for Aribo, now it's Morelos, big chance for Rangers! And Alfredo Morelos puts Rangers in front. A beautiful move from Rangers, and Alfredo Morelos finishes it off.
I could imagine Steven Gerrard's had numerous conversations with him regarding his temperament, and you can picture him speaking to Alfredo Morelos and telling him just how important he is to the football club and how he can't let the team down, because in the past nobody can deny that he's let the team down.
I don't think you'd want to take that away from him, because that's the player he is, that's how he plays, and yes, he might get a couple of red cards a season, but he'll probably score you 5, 6, 7 match-winning goals like he has done.
He's grown into the kind of player that you want him to be. I think there's been a lot of work done with him on the training ground. And Morelos, for me, has just grown into himself in that way. His link-up play is fantastic now. It's getting much better.
If you're a defender, if you're a centre-back, playing against Alfredo Morelos and he starts to go deeper in the game, you're thinking, I've got a problem here. When Alfredo Morelos goes short, Kent goes in behind, Aribo goes in behind, Hadji can go in behind, Scott Arfield, whoever's playing in there. It's so tough, and he's added that to his game.
Next up for Rangers, an away fixture against Motherwell.
Chance for Polworth will play it back onto Watt, low ball across, Coulson scoring does! Devontae Cole sliding in between the central defenders, knocks the ball in, Motherwell have the lead. Barisic with a cross in, it's in! Centred in, it was unmarked, and he turns the ball beyond the goalkeeper. Motherwell 1, Rangers 1.
The match marked 300 Rangers appearances for central midfielder Stephen Davis.
A quick mention for Steve Davis, it was his 300th Rangers game this afternoon. What's it like to play against him? You've played against him in the middle of the park. He is a player of real quality.
Yeah, it's difficult to get near him. You know, he's a fantastic player, and he's came back to Rangers and he's improved them again. You know, I think a few people thought it was kind of his twilight years, he was going to come up here and take his foot off the gas, but he hasn't. You know, he's taken a standard up. He's been brilliant whenever he's played, and he's a real asset to the football club.
Steve Davis, you know, I mean, he's the anchor in that midfield. He controls everything. It's not only the forward play, also defensively. How many times you see him in key positions where the centre halves are maybe pulled out of position a wee bit, and he covers in, and he goes and covers in, but he's trying to clean up, to help out, because his experience, he's been at the highest level and international and all the rest of it. He's so important for that role.
Central midfield for Rangers is an area of the pitch where they have real options, where they normally dominate games.
For me, I love Kamara. You know, it's been an absolute steal for me what they paid for him to get him into the club. He's been fantastic.
The one for me who I really like is Aribo. I think he seems to always be in the right position. He just ghosts into good positions. He can find a pass, he can dribble past players, he can score goals.
We're talking about options. We talk about Kamara, Davis, Aribo, Ryan Jack. You know, this good option. Arfield sometimes in play that role as well. So, you know, Rangers' depth in the bench has been key as well for that midfield this season.
This is absolute sheer quality in terms of the patience, the level of build-up play. I think almost every player in the team, you know, has got a touch on the ball, and it's different types of movement here. You've got strikers coming in and lending a pass, you've got midfielders that are finding that forward pass.
Jack once more to the feet of Itten. Hadji's onside. There's Ryan Jack.
That's the goal that if you try and press Rangers and you don't get the press right, that's the goal you concede, because they're all good enough on the ball, they just pass the ball around you.
There's been no way to break this Rangers team down. You know, apart from probably the one game that would stick out was Hamilton away.
McMahon shoots, saved by McGregor, big chance here, blocked there, Callahan on the follow-up, a glorious chance for Hamilton Accies. Anderson picks it up right-hand side, drives it at goal, saved by McGregor. Davis rolls it out wide left, Barisic, he's in space, he's inside the box, he smashes it across the face, and in it goes! Might well be an own goal, and this unbeatable Rangers side have found a lead. This is the last chance, there's only about 10 seconds left. Hughes looks up at the box, crosses it in, big chance, Anderson's header, McGregor again, Callahan's put it in! Accies have equalised with just about the last kick of the ball! It is Hamilton Academical 1, Rangers 1, and you have to say, Brian Rice's team deserve it.
And don't get me wrong, Hamilton deserved their point. In fact, they probably could and maybe should have won the game. It was another point in the season where, and there's been very few, where Rangers just dropped below the levels that Steven Gerrard has set the whole season. But again, you look at Alan McGregor and he pulls off, I think, 3, maybe 4 really, really good saves in the game.
to have so many saves in one game.
Well, this is the most amount of saves he's had to make in any match this season.
Yeah, and he was very disappointed about that fact.
He was not happy, was he, after the game?
And rightly so.
And you can just tell he's probably going into the changing room himself as one of the most, if not the most senior player at the club, and torn strips off them.
He's a good friend of mine, and he's always like that. We talking about league's done, you know, but he wasn't having it. He's like, nah, it's not done until it's done. He's very, very professional about his job and that. And you can see he was hurting with it because he wants it so bad.
Nowadays, where there's so many players that are not vocal and they don't express things and they're quite sort of insular, you need players that are going to be able to drive people forward. And Al McGregor's reaction after the game, I think, is something that would help to foster that mentality of it's not good enough, you need to do better.
He's been doing it every game all season. He's been definitely instrumental in the position that they're in just now.
Some of the games, had it not been for him personally, some of the saves he pulls out, then there wouldn't have been a clean sheet record like this. He's had an unbelievable season.
With question marks over Neil Lennon's future at the club, Celtic travel north for a Sunday fixture against bottom side Ross County.
Jordan White scores possibly one of the biggest goals in Ross County's league season. It is victory for County.
Does it feel like a big rebuild is required at Celtic?
Yes, I would say so, yes.
3 days after that defeat to Ross County, Neil Lennon resigns as Celtic manager.
The news in the last few minutes, Neil Lennon has resigned as Celtic manager.
When Neil Lennon's exit from Celtic was confirmed at 7 o'clock this morning, the announcement came as little surprise.
John Kennedy, who has been his assistant, will take interim charge.
I think inevitably it shows, what a disaster it's been for Celtic. Such high hopes, a historic season that was on the horizon for them has petered away, has come to nothing.
The man who captained and then managed Celtic twice had incredible success though. This Scottish Cup just one of 21 trophies over that time.
They've had a lot of success in previous seasons, but everything has to come to an end. It's sport. You see it in athletics, you see it in motor racing, all other sports. You can't win all the time.
Rangers next face Kilmarnock at Ibrox, and another contender for goal of the season makes the difference.
It's a good ball. He's going to break two. Balogun's in there. Eventually knocked away only as far as Jack on the volley. That is an absolutely fantastic strike from Ryan Jack.
The first touch is unbelievable, but the finish is sublime. The keeper has absolutely no chance. And we're talking about Ryan Jack's improvements. I'm not sure how many times he's hit these, but what a fantastic goal.
You're used to seeing Ryan Jack as maybe a defensive midfielder, but he's coming up with some really important goals, and they seem to be getting better and better. It's a magnificent goal.
Steven Gerrard's side close in on being confirmed as champions. A victory at Livingston would put them within touching distance of clinching the title.
Davis again, down the side for Kamara. Looks to shrug off Fitzwater. And Lawson, Davis with a shot! And Alfredo Morelos has surely won this for Rangers.
And there is a pile-up on the far side of Rangers players, substitutes and coaching staff. And little wonder they've scored late here to move a step closer to the Premiership crown. Rangers have won this game. Their first piece of major silverware in a decade is within touching distance now.
The celebrations from the staff and the players alike really hit home. They know that this is just round the corner. It's another game ticked off.
Well, Rangers could clinch the Premiership title this weekend should they beat St Mirren later and Celtic drop points against Dundee United tomorrow. Should they do so, they'll win their first major trophy in 10 years.
The title is tantalisingly close. Rangers invincible at Ibrox,
One more win here today could be enough to get them across the line.
Some of the games that I've been at Ibrox this season, Rangers haven't necessarily started that well. But there was a different feel to this game. The atmosphere was different. And the start of the game, they were playing like champions.
Ryan Kent, room to shoot. What a goal from Ryan Kent to open the scoring. St Mirren thought they'd dealt with the danger. But when it came back to Ryan Kent, there was only one thing on his mind.
The St Mirren game was so dominant from Rangers' side. You could see that game was just, Rangers was cruising.
Hadji thought about the strike, squares it instead to Kamara, who finds Morelos. It's a tight angle, but Morelos finds the back of the net regardless. Well, he enjoys playing against St Mirren. It's 4 goals for the season against the Buddies, and Rangers, with just a quarter of an hour on the clock, have a 2-goal advantage.
There was a formality about the St Mirren result, Rangers' home form, their clean sheet record at Ibrox.
Rangers looking in the mood for an early third goal, comes to Hadji, big chance for Hadji, and that must be that. Less than 30 seconds on the clock in the second period, and Rangers make it 3-0. Rangers move 21 points clear at the top of the table. There are only 21 points left for Celtic to earn at best, as the players make their way out within sight of the fans who have gathered in celebration. It is all but done for Rangers, who will lift our first league title in 10 years very, very soon.
You could see what it meant to the Rangers players at the end of this match. Of course, they know that it's within reach.
You see the celebrations, the players they're ecstatic. But I think what was noticeable was, the senior players, Alan McGregor, and almost like thinking, wow, it's another title, and it's been a long time coming.
They knew on the Saturday it was pretty much all over. And I wonder whether or not the Celtic players watching the Rangers players celebrate, obviously the supporters turned up at Ibrox, there was this feeling that it was already won. Now, did that have an effect on the Celtic players going into their game on Sunday against Dundee United up at Tannadice?
So Celtic must beat Dundee United tomorrow to prolong the title race.
I was still thinking, nah, we need to wait till, Celtic tomorrow. I'm assuming they're going to get a result anyway, and it's going to push it on because they'll be desperate to stop us and be in our way kind of thing.
Rangers neatly disposed of St Mirren yesterday. Blue confetti will fall if Celtic fail to take all 3 points, thus ending Celtic's majestic run of 9 successive league titles. Iron to Turnbull. Turnbull, it's a good save, Benjamin Siegrist. Turnbull curls it in. Good header, it's Welsh, and it's repelled by Siegrist. Christie again, another chance for Celtic. Christie teasing into the middle, Elyounoussi. Rangers will be readying those champagne corks. Elyounoussi! That's a terrific effort. Kevin Clancy blows the whistle. Celtic's failure to win confirms that one of their most glorious chapters in their history, 9 consecutive titles, has come to an end. It's a new story starting at Ibrox. Rangers are champions of Scotland. Rangers are confirmed as champions.
Rangers are the Scottish Premiership champions season 2020-21, a first league title for the Ibrox club in 10 years.
It's been a momentous weekend in Scottish football. A massive congratulations to Steven Gerrard and Rangers Football Club for winning their first Premiership title in 10 years.
My word, his team in the league this season have been absolutely spot on when it comes to just performance level, mindset, and they are worthy champions.
Steven Gerrard, a club legend at Liverpool, achieved masses over the years in his career. This is his first managerial stint. And he comes up to Scotland, big rivalry. Celtic and Rangers, Celtic having won and going for 10 in a row. And he is the manager to break the mould. You know, whatever he goes on to do in his managerial career, that moment will live with him forever.
It wasn't for me until Gerrard stepped in the foot in the door and he brought his team with him, and you could see from the get-go when he got in, the gap got smaller.
Surrounded himself with a top team.
I always talk about the team behind the team, and you've got Gary McAllister in there, you've got Michael Beale.
They've got it spot on and completely right, you know, in this season. You know, they've been relentless, and not only saying relentless in that way, they've been playing entertaining football. It's been a joy to watch them play, you know, and what they've been doing.
Ahead of the upcoming Old Firm derby, both Celtic and Rangers come together in support of Glenn Kamara, who, during Rangers' Europa League defeat to Slavia Prague, was racially abused by an opponent.
Well, a significant show of solidarity ahead of kick-off on the back of what happened at Ibrox on Thursday night. Celtic and Rangers standing united in the battle against racism. Lovely pass from Callum McGregor in behind Balogun. For Edouard! Moyel Yunusi scores for Celtic. Well, it's been a miserable season for Celtic, but there's something to smile about. Barisic swings in the corner kick, and Rangers are level, and it's Alfredo Morelos who scores his first goal against Celtic.
It's been a long time in coming, but I think it was a crucial goal today.
After another victory over Celtic in the Scottish Cup, Rangers are knocked out of the competition on penalties against St Johnstone.
And Rangers' hopes of a double are dead and buried. It is a massive day in the history of St Johnstone.
But back to league business as Rangers look to finish the season in style.
Kent in on the left foot. Goes for goal. That is a smashing finish from Ryan Kent.
When you go through this Rangers team, you're almost rhyming all the players off this season. Ali McGregor, Barisic, Tavernier. But Ryan Kent, his speed and mobility, with the ball at his feet, shifting from one side to the other, dropping into little pockets of space, he terrorises defenders when he plays against them.
Some fancy footwork from Kent.
I think Kent's becoming the real talisman for Rangers now.
Kent in on the left foot. Goes for goal. That is a smashing finish from Ryan Kent.
Rangers has a fantastic squad right now that they can make stronger, add to that squad, and kick on and maybe have a couple of good years. But we're going to go in before Celtic get a kind of grip of what's going on and kind of challenge, and hopefully also Champions League next year as well.
The way that Rangers have performed this season has been ruthless.
Rangers' consistency has been incredible.
They play with a fluency, you know, they create lots of chances.
The level of quality of performance, both domestically and in Europe, has been terrific as well.
It's Morelos on the left foot, what a strike that is!
Sometimes winners need to go through some suffering and some hurt, and certainly that's happened to Rangers over the last 10 seasons.
The fans are finally getting that feeling back of we're kind of back at the top. We can build from this.
Going into next season, I think he's already relishing next season, going, I want to do this again. I want to taste that again. And he's got this drive, and it's the drive that made him one of the best midfielders in the world.
Defoe twisting away from Stephen Welsh and scoring. Still finding the back of the net after all these years, and it puts the icing on the cake here for Rangers.
Rangers are going to go into next season as favourites, but hopefully fans will be back in, so there's a different dimension again.
Celtic are going to have a huge turnover, not just of players but as a club as a whole. The challenge for them is to find that right formula. For Rangers, it'll be more of the same and improving. So it certainly should be an exciting season next year.
Will Aberdeen respond? Will Hibs respond? Will Rangers develop their style of play further? So there's a whole host of talking points for next season, and I can't wait. I think it's probably going to be the most exciting season that we've had for a long time.
Rangers goalkeeper Alan McGregor's been named Scottish Premiership Player of the Year for 2020-21.
Rangers boss Steven Gerrard has now won the SPFL Manager of the Year award to go with Scotland.
The final day of the season, Trophy Day at Ibrox. Could this Rangers side finish the season unbeaten in the league?
Comes off McKenzie, it's gone in! Rangers in front already. Here's Ryan Kent. He's come to life there! Kemar Roof has a chance here, it's another one! That's brilliant from Defoe! 38 games played, 32 wins, 6 draws, and a 100% home record.
Exactly 10 years to the day since Walter Smith's Rangers clinched